Political analyst Lukhona Mnguni, who joins us via the virtual platform. Lukhona, good evening to you. So let's talk about what is going on here. The fluidity around what is happening in KZN, does it have a direct connection with what the IFP has announced today, that they are officially forming part of the government of national unity? And has that now had a trickle-down effect directly to the province of KwaZulu-Natal?
Good evening, Xoli, and good evening to your viewers. I think yes and no. Yes, in the sense that there are those who are part of the government of national unity, or at least what I call a quasi-government of national unity, which would be opposed to the MK party joining the government of national unity. So the Democratic Alliance is not necessarily happy to work with MK party. And one wonders, as the IFP was saying, that they are open to working with MK, well, open to meeting with MK party, so that I don't misrepresent them. Yeah. Open to meeting with MK party, but if you are willing to meet somebody, it means you are willing to hear them out and you are willing to probably take into consideration what they have to say. And I think the IFP probably might well feel a heavier burden that says, what is the value or what is the impact of leaving out a political party in KwaZulu-Natal that has garnered 45% of the vote, and nationally you've got a party that has 40% of the vote forming a government of national unity. Yeah. So what if it was MK who called everybody to a government of provincial unity? What should be the posture of other political parties? And of course we know that there are material things that people are opposed to insofar as the content and the context of the emergence of the MK party is concerned. But I think only nationally they are trying to decouple the various issues, which I don't think it's wise in my view. So they are trying to decouple KwaZulu-Natal and Gauteng from the national government of unity permutation. Because, I mean, in Gauteng, if you were to ask what is happening today in that province and how far it talks, probably you'll find that they are probably much more in disarray than they are in KZN.
Let me then follow up and say the announcement that appears to have been made today by the ANC that in KwaZulu-Natal, that the eThekwini mayor is now being deployed to the National Council of Provinces, which essentially means that he is being recalled as mayor of eThekwini. How should we read that?
Well, it may well be a form of no confidence on him. And I mean, if we are quite honest, over the last few years, if there's one person that the ANC has found to be extremely mobile, it must be Mxolisi Kaunda. He was removed as MEC for transport in the province and then redeployed to eThekwini. Now he's being removed to the NCOP. But it also tells you that probably the ANC in KZN does not believe that this is an individual with a key constituency. And therefore redeploying him is probably of no material consequence to the ANC. But it's a risky move for the ANC in eThekwini because who then becomes the next mayor? They will be judged and scrutinized very harshly. Yeah. And if the ANC takes the residents of the city of eThekwini for granted, they may well stand to be punished very harshly in the 2026 local government election. It's also still to be seen, only whether or not the threats or the assumptions made by the MK party that they've got some ANC ward councillors who are keen to cross over to MK party, and that they may well resign before 2026 to force, municipal-wide by-elections in the wards. We need to see how that unfolds as well. But I don't think that the removal of Kaunda has to do with anything really in terms of the negotiations that are ongoing. Yeah. Let's just be frank, Polly, and say that in KwaZulu-Natal, the ANC is extremely weak. The ANC is smaller than the DA in KZN. They've moved from 44 seats to 14 seats. That's very, very significant. So the ANC, in actual fact, in KZN, is in no position to put up a government. They are at the mercy of the other players. And the reason why the IFP is probably holding this press briefing, which is not very much in depth on detail, by the way, to tell us what's going on.
Yeah.
It almost seems like a press briefing that is trying to preempt future events.